game of the split. And honestly, it looked like a game that he probably should have died a lot more times than he did on, but they did win. They did win that game. So we're gonna see our second Kennen here for Boal. It is still a lane dominant pick for him. This is the best way to use this pick, I think. And it's against the Jax that has had specifically lane power taken out of it with that ult passive and with the Counter-Strike. So Guigu is gonna have a rough time up here, I'd imagine. He's gonna have to outplay pretty heavily to make the best of this. And I think, yeah, Red, potentially, this is just the way to go. This is what kind of, I think, gave them the best success earlier in this split, was just run over your opponents in lane and then walk it in without too much issue.
Yeah, that does seem to be the best way to approach at least those later stages. As I am thinking about the way the early game will play out, though, I am wondering how well Vivo Key will be able to maintain control of the ship. Red do have this like very clear game plan when it comes to the mid and late game, which is just to take those engages and say, all right, well, we're in your face now and there's not too much you can do about it. Vivo Key have an incredible amount of scaling on their side, but need to survive all of that first, and I guess we're doing it by starting off with a small skirmish in the bot lane.
Yeah, over this vision. I like that they both came out of the exact same mirrored position for the exact same plan of clearing out the exact same ward in that brush and ended up just going at it against each other. The Lucian Nami does win out over total HP, but yeah, definitely scrappy. And the Zeri already used their one potion. Crash Shield's burned all of his pots in the bot lane. There are no more potions for VKS's bot side and 4 across Titan and Scamber.
Oh my god, it's too much. And start of the trades in the top side as well. Everybody's going to be getting really scrappy. I, however, am going to be watching the junglers to really see what their impact on the lane is going to be a little bit later on. Both of them looking like they were going for full clears, but Aegis has opted into that early Gromp, maybe trying to impact the bot lane and get there before Grell.
Yep. Level 2 was hit first by Steps of Crashtail, but now Titan and Scamber, once they've hit it, they wanted to go in. But the Zeri Lulu, remember everybody, this is not a weak laning duo. We were told, we were lied to. Riot Games told us Zeri was weak in lane. It's not true, okay? Especially with Lulu. This combo is very strong, and here they are. Here are those junglers you were looking for, dear. They're coming down for bot lane. Steps, though, might be beyond saving. Oh! Alcove Gaming and Scamber with a first blood in his debut game, but now here it comes Grell. If he finds the resets, this could get awfully hairy, but Aegis scrapping it out on the Lee Sin, dashes back, and Scamber, by far the healthiest champion in this bot lane right now, as Avenger coming to join the party. If he's getting spicy, he could flash Q onto Grell, but will just channel the recall.
I like the conservative nature of that play there. A 1-for-1 is going to be plenty. Although I can't help but think that in that particular situation, Vivo Key had actually got out pretty good. They have the singular kill onto their jungler, where on the other side, Red were only able to pick up that initial kill, and this is before the junglers even arrived. After Steps is driven into a corner, it's a really easy trade, and, well, the disengage is close. Vivo Key have to be happy with the way that that went, given that they're the ones that aren't operating with this early game composition.
Exactly. You saw the Lulu shields doing so much work there in the bot lane fight. A kill onto Grell could accelerate this Viego, and we've seen Viego's takeover games more than once in the past year of play. Scamber getting the first blood to his side. He's going to get a nice, strong start, going straight to the Kindle Gem, bit of defense to keep him alive. And a good start from him in his debut CBLOL performance. So we'll see how this bot lane develops in the junglers if they want to keep going back there. Across the rest of the map, Grevthart with a small lead after Avengers roam, and Boal has been using the range to get himself on top of things in top lane. Guigo TPing back already, going straight into Null Magic Mantle. He knows what the deal is.
Trying to approach this wave. Titan really struggling without that Nami, that bloodthirsty Nami that we just saw.
Yeah.
It is really nice to get gold on your enchanters early game, especially when it isn't being answered by, say, the AD carry on the other side, but as to whether it'll significantly shift the way that this actually plays out. I mean, you're already going into Lucian Nami. How much worse can it really get in terms of these short trades? Steps, now also missing both summoners for the next couple minutes. Crastiel just a flash up, so that bot lane can be revisited, but take a look at the top side. Aegis has already stepped up there with Guigo being shoved in. It is just to make sure that this reset goes off nicely, but I'm wondering what the play will be for Aegis, because he is the one on this Lee Sin that has the most autonomy. He's the one that gets to dictate where Grell has to show up.
Exactly. He's got that early pickaxe buy. Oh, nice bubble from Scamber onto Crastiel. Grell currently hanging around the bot side. They're trading aggressively. Titan dashes in with a relentless pursuit, and Chunk steps out. His support steps away, and instantly the Zeri feels the pain as Grell will have to cover them off. Aegis is going to be spotted out in the vision right now. If you're taking a look at these junglers to see where they go, Dia, I am personally keeping an eye on Avenger, who has hit level 6 just now, but on the assassins and the mechanically outplay, heavy champions, Avenger has looked kind of sensational this split. It's looked kind of without compare on those specific archetypes. But on the mages, on the Orianas, it just doesn't really hit the same. And Annie isn't really an assassin-type player that you can flash in and one-shot people if you get ahead. So I want to see if he can perform well on what is essentially a mage archetype, as he's dropped the ult onto Grevthar.
It's a good start.
The kill. Yeah, he's leading that one, but he's pretty low on mana now, as the dragon is still ongoing.
It might be worth channeling
Grell
back
smited
real
it.
quick. Avenger's not going to have any impact, so it is effectively a 3v3 for Vivo Kid. That's to say nothing of Zeri in the bot side. And Red struggling with their grasp of where their tempo actually lies, what the exact moments that they're strong are. They start off this dragon on the back of a steps chunk in a 2v2 between Titan and Scamber, and now it's turned into what could be 3 kills.
Oh, they tried to crush them against the wall there. They had the slow, but Grell, without the ultimate, can't get in range. And it's just the heal taken off Scamber. But Steps, you can see him dashing up into 3 people because he knows he's got the power, he's got the support. VKS not being intimidated as now Aegis walks blank into a stun from Grell. He didn't have vision, but he nails that Spectral Maw, and Aegis has to give this up.
Avenger did channel the recall as well as the teleport during this time, so mid pressure is already being applied. Grell likely going to rotate through, see if you can absorb a little bit of that XP and stop the wave crash that's coming through from Avenger, but all this has been happening in sort of a net zero game for both sides. Vivo Kid did walk away with the dragon, didn't get any additional kills, but I gotta say, Trajan, that's good for them. The longer that Vivo Kid can force these, and I'm going to put it in quotes, nothing trades, the better it is as they'll continue to accumulate golden experience.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty happy with how the game has gone so far. We checked out that trading up in the top side. Pretty bog standard. Early Merc trades by Fuegigo is falling a little behind, but that's what we would expect in this matchup. And we're waiting to see who can break this game open, really. VKS, they have the dragon stacking in their favor for now. And the Herald is live. We love a little Herald fight here in the Brazilian region. There's level 6 hit for Grell. A lot of extra team fight power on the deck here. They could look to leverage that right now. They are on vision, but they're going to step up and start it.
Red did the same thing earlier on, starting the dragon when they knew they were on vision. They got punished for it. Right now, Steps being punished in the bot side. Titan needs 2 turret shots, though, and Vivo Kid playing really well, leaving their AD carry in the bot side alone and not paying for it. Avenger looking for a way in on this Rift Herald, but this is going over nice and clean. I'm looking for this Lee Sin. He's not going to try anything. And Grell picks up the Rift Herald, now hopefully being able to turn that into a turret over the next couple minutes.
Steps, he's got the lightning crash, he's flashed in to box in Titan, and that's a clean 2v2 kill. Crastiel and Steps stepping up to the chief of bot lane, the CEO of AD carry in this region, Titan. Straight up 2v2'd on Lucian Nami. The red struggles are not done yet.
And I can't help but look back at the draft and go, well, yeah, Red gave this up. Red knew exactly what was coming for them. They knew that they were taking Lucian Nami into this Zeri Lulu. They knew moments ago that Zeri felt comfortable enough to stay 1v2 underneath bot lane tower. Of course, when Lulu shows up and you're overextended, you're going to go down. And it feels like Red in this game so far have been taking a lot of these disrespectful gambles up against Vivo Keydstars, perhaps expecting that this game not be as close as, I don't know, they might say against a team they respected a little more. But it's biting them right now, and I don't know whether you actually have enough mid-game tools to bring this back.
Yeah, we said in the draft that they're looking to run over this game with a comp like this, and run over VKS. They certainly have not so far. 10 minutes in, gold dead even, down a dragon, losing the 2v2s. It's the only CS deficits are in the expected matchups to receive those. And it's really not going as Red would have wanted. VKS starting to show us why Axeman at the very least believes they don't deserve this 3-9 record, especially after these new pickups have been brought in. They're making a splash for themselves. Ooh, bump back from Avenger, not back by the explosive cast. Grella's there, and the flash is committed by the Annie. Not going to leave that up to chance, but again, it's VKS. They make the play. They get the summoner advantage.
And they had that first bit of backup as well. Crastiel was already in the river roaming up. Vivo Kid are running the map right now, and Red are trying to make these precise incisions to strike back. Say, all right, well, we're going to take away, say, this tribe rush, perhaps this little bit of dragon pressure. We're going to chunk you out here, and you're going to have to step back. And every time, I think Vivo Kid are finding this really nice way of getting back into the game. We've got to fight up topside, though.
Ult's committed. Boal, he's dropping pretty low.
Stun.
Those empowered strikes coming in. He finds the stun, finds the flash, but a flash in for Guigo!
Next
for the
one!
solo kill! Almost not traded back. He had the potion burning. But honestly, Jax versus Kennen, I'll take the trade.
Yeah. At this point, it's a big vote of confidence up in the top side as Guigo has claimed the first of what I'm sure will be many in the solo lane. And it should be Bull's sign that it's time to start getting impact where Kennen really gets most of their mileage. Lane Kennen is scary. Teamfight Kennen is absolutely atrocious.
Exactly. TP is ready. Dragon is live. And Guigu has gone top lane. This could be a 5v4 for Red to break their way back into this early game. And maybe VKS know that. Maybe they don't want to get too committal to it. They're going to let Red start this one up. Boa actually able to just straight run down and have the TP back to the top lane tower if they get this play sewn up pretty quickly. Let's see if Grell's feeling confident. Grefthar back in the mid lane right now. It's just going to be a clean pickup from Red. They committed the members. They'll get the reward. And a TP is there for Boal, but plates picked up for Guigo in the interim.
Yeah, having to channel the teleport to get back up to the top side isn't ideal, but it's by far the better end of perhaps teleporting up into what is increasingly becoming a losing matchup and also losing the dragon. So at least Red get an Infernal. And now we know what the soul is going to be as well. We're moving over to the Hextech side, which is going to be really nice for Red if they can get that soul in the mid game. But again, their power has been a little bit lacking recently. Their playmaking has been answered really well by Vivo Kid, and I'm really appreciating what we're seeing out of the Vivo Kid stars right now because they're playing really conservatively. They're absorbing a lot of things, a lot of plays from Red, and I'm not sure with the amount of vision control that Vivo Kid have whether Red can make a play on their own terms yet.
They've really been struggling to get something over the line in this early stage. Aegis has been all over the place with the Lee Sin, but not able to make it in to start that action. 0, 0, and 0. Down in KDA, down in CS, down across the map, really, for this Lee Sin. Not really what you want to see from a Lee Sin, as Titan and Scamber looking to protect this pink ward from Grell. But man's got Kraken Slayer already. I don't know if you want to start a fight with this man.
Guigo's just spotted Lee Sin up at the top side. Can he survive? Counter-Strike available.
They both get stunned up, and Grevdar to support. Flashes in with the explosive cast. They're outside of tower range now, though. They've got to be careful. Aegis lands the resonating strike, but Guigo and Grevdar, they've got the safety of the tower. Avenger comes in now with Tibbers to try and sway this one. Aegis is in, but he's down. And Guigo, he'll trade 1-for-1 himself 2-4 right now. Grell, though, ults in over the wall. Takes his soul, breaks his heart, and makes it the 2v2.
Oh no! How are they getting 2 kills? How are they getting 2 kills and a tower? Vivo Kid, again, playing this on their own terms, able to get just enough foresight. Incredible play from Guigo and Grefthar to coordinate on that pinch, but again, the fact that this is a 2v2, utter travesty for Red. They're not able to get an economic advantage. In fact, they lose out in the grander scheme of things, and we're approaching the 15-minute mark where Red should be strongest, and yet it feels like they're barely staying even.
Exactly. They are, in fact, down, coming up for 2,000 gold. And this mid to top side that Axeman and I were talking up for VKS. Very solid in terms of the experience. You know, the professional achievements that these players have are really showing up in this game. But that is not to speak less of Steps and Crastiel, who straight up 2v2 have dominated that bot lane. They've taken first tower. They found the 2v2 kills. But here's a look at that extended fight up on the top lane tower again.
And again, great start from the Vivo Keyed stars. I think forcing that continuation of an engagement perfectly with Grevthar. Avenger does show up at just the right time, because if he had not, I honestly don't know whether Red get anything there at all.
I think they can't re-engage, right? It's not safe. You have to have someone else push it over the line, but it takes so long to come through that Grell, you can see there the live action shot, ready to punish, and it's more gold in the Viego's pocket, as somehow this Jax has died off screen right here. So finally, Aegis has managed to make a clean 2v2 happen. Looks like it might have been a 3v1 actually, with Avenger with kill credit.
I think we can officially say the observers are biased then, because we have just missed single-handedly the best moment for Red that's happened this game. We're going to take a look back at it now, as evidently it's just an overextension from Guigo, disrespecting the low cooldown on that Kennen ultimate. And that is going to be a big factor as we move later into this game, not just for Guigo, the Gui God, but for everyone else as well. On Vivo Keyed, you do have to be sure that you are paying utmost respect to how much CC this cannon can output in a short amount of time.
100%. Boal and Avenger, if they line up on the same target, I don't care how fed you are, you're probably not making it out. Even with the Lulu ult, with the Blood Ward, there's so much burst coming out of these pair of carries. I wouldn't be surprised if we even see a Wit's End come through for Steps at some point in this game, and for Grail, and for Guigo, honestly. they can all build it, and they might not go amiss this game. As they're dropping the next Herald into mid lane. They use the first in bot lane, and they're going to crack their second tower of the game. Maybe even get a cheeky next charge, but they'll give it up. And the Dragon live in 5 seconds. Hextech Rift, ladies and gentlemen. Very impactful soul to be scrapping over.
Perfect time to have used that Rift Herald. You've got so much mid pressure now. And that's the most, or one of the most important things when you are trying to rotate into the river. Red are grouped up as 5 first. Bull does have that ultimate back. Vivo Keyed have to pay respect to this, but he's pretty far away. Steps takes a big chunk.
Oh, but we go on the flank. Quick flash away, and the barrel knocks Titan to safety.
There's the
Now
ult!
Boal in with a slicing maelstrom. He goes deep under the tower. It's a great engagement for Red, but look at Guigo back in with a massive counter-strike. Grell and Jax trying to get it done, but they won't be able to pull it across the line. What a nail-biter between Vivo Keystars and Red Kalunga. Oh my word, but Red, they come out on top.
Stroke of genius. Absolute Giga Chad moves from Bull to pull that back into the favor of Red Canids. Now they're able to pick up that Dragon, which of course we talked about transitioning into the Hextech Soul. But again, by the skin of their teeth. Red made that so close, and it really did come down to just one big decision that was made from Bull to commit, despite the fact that the team fight was looking bad.
Exactly. Very close. That could have so easily become a Viego reset fest with the low HP bars coming out of Red. But they'll take that win. They'll bank it. They've evened up the gold. They've got the Dragons in their favor now. And you can see in the inventories, fast accelerating towards the 2-item spike that they want to play through in this mid game. Avenger going straight towards the Rabadons, needs that burst, needs it now, as Titan heading towards the Collector as well. So let's see if they can keep this momentum going as Grell finds a little angle onto Aegis.
Oh my god, he goes
back, in fact, very much the wrong side of town. Bit overconfident for the Viego, and he goes down clean.
That skirmish also really giving some evidence over to what's changed about the game since that last Dragon fight. Red have a lot more 2v2 and I'll say skirmish potential now that they've got more gold effectively on both Aegis and Avenger. There's the powerhouse duo Annie Lee Sin. You cannot fight different damage types, lots of damage and plenty of CC to go along with it. They're abusing this combo well they can, and it's the one strong point, the sharpest thing that Red can exploit in their fight up against Vivo Keyed. Grevthar getting bullied underneath the tower should be alright, but Red do have this one tool and they are using it, taking absolutely no disrespect.
This is one of the things that I both love and hate about CBLOL Dia, is that Aegis walked into that top lane. He goes for the Q into ward jump to dodge away from Grefthar. More or less of a pointless play, right? It's a bit of a meme. He drops the emote afterwards. It's a bit of a mental game, right? But he drops a pink ward for it. He spent 75 gold on that pink ward, and he goes straight into top lane, drops it for BM, and walks away. And now it's gone. And this is just... It's such a CBLOL moment, you know? And when they've just won that last fight, you know, they're trying to assert that mental dominance. It certainly works a lot of the time, but it does pain me to see them investing gold in this kind of memery.
Yeah, and it's what looks like them saying, "Come fight us. We're wasting resources we don't have our brains on. Let's take a fight." And I have to hope that that's at least where Red's heads are at, because that's their win condition right now, is to fight with Lee Sin, Annie, find picks, find unexpected amounts of burst damage, and they've spent so much time with Aegis up on that top side that the rest of the map has sort of fallen apart. Vivo Keed control full vision around the river, both in top side and with Guigo's pressure now in the bot lane as well. So for all of this, Red have gotten essentially nothing after that dragon, to the tune of us having another one coming up in the next 2 minutes, and there being no evident team fight that anyone's going to have to take. Red are trying to create one in the mid lane, though, and let's see how it goes.
Going for this mid lane tower. They'll trade it for top side as Grell and Grevthar pick that one up. Where Canids will open up this mid side of the map. They'll keep the gold just about in their favor, but you saw from the gold graph, it was on your screen earlier, that Vivo Keedstars do still have the richest players in the game on their side. Steps, in fact, still the richest player, despite the fact that once the lane ended, we have seen nothing from the man. There was one fight that he got pushed out of by Titan, you know? That lane is really propping him up here, and he has that 2-item spike, and this Zeri is a late-game menace that will come online, but he's going to have to leverage that properly. We're going to have to see the value and the investment paying off for this Zeri Lulu that they were kind of forced into taking, and seem happy enough to slam into the Lucian Nami.
It's been really good so far. Now that second item has come through for Zeri as well, you've got a surprising amount of money on Steps, due entirely to the fact this guy silently has the most CS in the game. He's just been vibing, picking up as much money as possible, and saying, as you recognized, Trajan, that, well, I knew I was going to have to play this, so I'm going to make it monstrous. Steps is arguably the scariest part of the Vivo Keystars right now, and that's as we approach this next Drake in the next couple seconds, where Titan doesn't have that second item yet. Nobody can actually step 2 steps, and it's going to come down to a game of cooldowns. Will Bowl get another great ult, or will Steps shred the entire side of Red?
Exactly. Last time Steps was pushed out early. Guigo currently is on the bot side with the TP ready, and Guigo's got a Spear of Shojin in his inventory as well. It's a big 2-item power point for this Jax. Titan again leading the charge in. Wants to push out this Zeri like he did last time, but doesn't get nearly the value of before. But remember, they don't have Jax. They still don't have that Counter-Strike to follow up. Bowl as well, way behind the curve, just sitting back there waiting. He knows the fight is not kicking off yet.
Look at
He's
Guigo.
got the flash. He's coming back up now. Who's gonna break first? Who's gonna blink first right here? Contesting this mid lane. The Dragon's live, and Avenger goes in onto Grefthar, but they won't find the kill just yet.
Oh!
He gets away on a sliver with that wild growth, and now Guigo's in, forces a flash from the Annie. Steps chunked down. Red feeling good about this. They're pushing VKS back now. They're feeling very confident about the health totals in this matchup. Scamber, though, walks into Grell. Has to be careful. Doesn't like the bubble.
Teleport.
TP in
Titan!
From Grefthar. Steps again. Titan's going deep for it, but Avenger the first to go down, and Grell finds the anti-stun. Now Grefthar in from the flank. Gets the Titan. Bounce him against the wall, but who's there to follow it up? Who's there to finish this kill? Grefthar does it on his own. Picks up Boal and starts taking them down, taking them apart, player by player. And it was a long time coming, but Vivo Keedstars take 4 for none.
What?
And move on to Baron.
What on God's green earth was that, Trajan? Vivo Keedstars are just unhinged, being able to play out that team fight so well. I want to take a look back on it, because I don't think that there was I wish I could like pause as we were going through the replay as well, just to point out exactly how many moments they individually outplayed and saw through the game plan of Red. That was not just the Baron play. That was so much more from Vivo Keyed, because they've just shown me that they're in the heads of Red. That mental game that Aegis was trying to play, Vivo Keyed have won it by a mile.
100%, man. The fact that Grevthar can engage onto the bot lane duo and just kills Titan solo. Nothing he could do about it. On the 2-item Gragas, and you see him now instilled with that confidence, coming up to 3000 HP with 2 AP items as well on a stopwatch. This Gragas is becoming a problem as the Dragon is started up. Vivo Keedstar's looking to even up that Dragon tally, and that's exactly the boon they needed. 2 items being hit across the board, and this scaling composition, it's getting there.
This Zeri pick as well is, I think, one of the biggest turning points that we're not seeing as much, because Steps isn't popping off to the tune of just melting 5 people, but Red know that Steps can do that, and they're having to commit a lot of resources to trying to get on top of this Zeri. Vivo Keyed with a composition that very much thrives when you are being forced to jump into them, when they're able to kite you back and sort of engage on their own terms, especially with something like a Lulu. Red will again have to do that, and right now are unable to, as they're split 3-2 into a 4-1. It's a free tower for Vivo Keyed, and likely going to turn into a few more before this Baron expires.
Exactly. Plus 2k on the Baron play right now. Still a minute left on it. As we do see a replay of this fight, as we wanted to see. A lot of facets, a lot of angles here. But it was Avenger pulling the trigger straight away. Grevthar, he won that fight at the end. He could have died first.
Very well could have. I want to take a look back at this. So the moment that we have here is a sort of pinch from Red. Titan's going to go for Steps, misses that kill while Avenger goes on the other side. Had this been an even trade, had Steps gone down for Avenger, you're actually in a decent spot as Red. After this, though, once you've already lost a member for nothing, it's an easy cleanup with that pickup, like you said, from Grevthar being the real nail in the coffin that just says, well, now you've got no AD carry either. There's no way you can fight. No mid, no ADC. What are you going to do? Cannon ult me? Tickle me a little bit?
Yeah. And Bull not able to find the impact there as the Baron waves now crashing into this top side. Almost 5,000 gold is the lead for the Vivo Keedstars. And they've got the Jax online with the Baron to help him split push. The buff's about to run out now, so Vivo Keedstars won't be able to crack the base here. They'll have to reset, and maybe just happy to wait around for another play. That fight was close, but it ended up going their way, and I think it's only going to get better for them the later this game goes. Lee Sin, great scoreline for Aegis, must say, but we need to see that turn into something. We need to see an insect. We need to see a massive kickback to really get the value there, because Viego is just only going to get better.
It's very scary when you consider the Vivo Keedstars roster are going to become basically unkillable as the game goes on. A lot more damage comes for Grell, but for Grevthar and Guigo, you're only getting more health on top of the DPS they're already able to output. Crastiel is going to help everyone out in that department, and Steps, with the way they've been playing, probably doesn't need that much health just to avoid going down, because he's been sidestepping everything, styling on Red Canids, and Sadie Carey's positioning is just on another level during this 7th week. It seems like Vivo Keedstars are coming up at the right time.
Yeah, if you don't get Annie and Kennen onto Steps, I don't think you kill this man. He's got Barrier, Crastiel's got Heal, he's got Blood Ward, he's got Phantom Dancer. I don't think you kill this man. He's got Flash up now as well, unless you have the AP engage CC combo right on his head. And all he has to do is not stand next to them, you know? So,
it's
see if Steps can manage that one. He's doing a good job so far of not standing next to the people who can one-tap him.
Yeah.
But Vivo Keedstars, again, it is relatively slow-paced when there's not an objective to fight over. You know, they don't have the best engage tools, and by that I mean it's basically just Gragas is kind of the main engage for them. And the onus is on Red to do something, and they are not being given the chance.
And I think the fortunate thing for Red is that we're going to get 2 objectives in the next couple of minutes, spawning at the same time, essentially. Baron's going to be up. We know Vivo Keyed want that. And Dragon's going to be up. And we know Vivo Keyed want that. So Both are
Yeah.
options, and perhaps Red will find a way to get away with a little bit of robbery here, steal one out, as they do still have a lot of burst damage onto these objectives, especially dragons, but what they don't have is a teleport flank. Look at this coming in!
Oh my goodness, Steps though, he's down! Steps has fallen, and Aegis finally
no.
makes his way onto the priority target as Boal's headed in as well. Both the top lanes
We go
into the backside, goes for the multi-man counter-strike, and Grevthar, perfect stopwatch from Avenger to dodge the body slam. But look at this, Titan finally is untouched, and Scamber again picks up kill credit. Red managed that flank perfectly, and now here's those objectives you mentioned here.
But Trajan, we talked about this. He has Flash, he has Barrier, he has Lulu. How does Steps die there? That's the Red Canids X Factor that changes everything. It makes no sense on paper that Steps goes down in that engagement. And it'll turn into, I think, the best case scenario for the Red Canids. They get the Baron, and will they give up Soul Point for now? Red aren't making it to Soul. If they don't come very close to ending the game off of this Baron, they're just losing more and more control.
Yeah, I think they are walking a tightrope right now. They do not have all the time to play with. Regardless, only some specific player-focused, Aegis gets the kickback of his lifestyle stuff, can keep this one rolling for them, and he did find his way onto Steps there, and it did manage to make it work, but that's not a reliable win condition. As the Red Baron power play comes online. Rabadon's completed for Kennen. 3 items done for Avenger. 3.5 done for Titan. They need to capitalize all the way to the enemy inhibitors with this one.
They should have the tools to do it, not just because of the way that that last team fight went, but because of what it cost Vivo Kid. We've still got what is now an incredibly immobile Steps, who has got the fear of God put into him, and if you can't bring Steps up right now, I don't know how your fight's going to go. It's another teleport flank, though. Big pick for Red.
Oh, Bol doesn't have it. Guigo, he's in too early, though. He's already fallen, and Grevthar comes in with a barrel, knocks back Avenger, but there's the Zhonya's, and it's very messy from Vivo Keedstars. A bit of a slapdash engage leads to a massive punish. 3 more kills for Titan, and Aegis hounding Crastiel back into the jungle. You got to imagine he's going to turn this one into 4. He'll not be allowed to take the free portal. 4 kills in a row for Titan in that fight. And now they're definitely cracking the base for this one.
They might even go for the end of the game right now. Red,
they could
do have the damage to do it now that everyone's grouped up. Avenger making sure he's on the same page as the rest of the team. 20 seconds on Grell. Steps alone isn't going to be enough. And off of that singular misstep, Vivo Kid have lost utter control of the game. This should be their last stand, if that. It's Grevthar against the world. He can't stall the turrets for long enough, and Red are just racing past him.
Grevthar goes in for the body bump, but he goes into stasis and has to watch Steps. Has come over the Nexus ball, instantly locks him up though. Someone's got to finish this Nexus off. Grell could find the resets, but they're picked apart. It's not enough, and Red will close the door on VKS. Oh my goodness, look at them all thanking whatever deity resides over us for that one, because that was pretty close at times.
That was so illegal. That was so